So today, we are continuing our discussion on why did I get married? Are you supposed to be married? Do you want to get married? Well, let's talk about it. So today I'm going to be talking about intimacy. Can't say it, but intimacy. So don't go nowhere. Come on back. Well, good morning. How are you doing? So glad you could join me today. Now, before we get started, I need your help. I want you got 4 things to do. You got to subscribe. Okay? You got to like. Give me a thumbs up if you like me. And then you also got to share me. And then I want you to make a comment if you like the subject matter, okay? So that's your homework. I want you to do it because I'm going to be looking for you, okay? All right, so we're talking about intimacy, guys. Intimacy is one of the key components to a successful marriage. I'm just going to cut to the chase with you. No intimacy, you don't have a marriage. It's just one of the main ingredients for a successful marriage that ministers, right, to the people that are in the marriage and even the people outside of the marriage. You never thought about that, did you? So what is this intimacy? When people hear the word intimacy, the first thing they think about is chaka. They don't have nothing. Well, it's not all about sex. It's not just about rolling in the sheets. Intimacy, let's pull that word apart. In-to-me-see. In-to-me-see. Look inside of me, okay? So we're going to deal with the sexual part of that because it is extremely important. Now, why do you think intimacy is so important? You ask good questions. It is very important because in that intimacy is the connectivity, okay? When you are intimate with your spouse, whether it's in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom, you are connecting, okay? And so you are supposed to be in a constant state of connectivity with your spouse. And that's why intimacy is so important. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is not for everybody. Understanding the mechanisms or the mechanics of marriage is not for everyone. And I don't feel like marriage is for everyone. Some people are just meant to be single because they cannot handle the task or they're not willing to do the work that marriage requires. Marriage does require work. I created something a while back called Marriage Works, and I'll tell you a little bit about Marriage Works later down the line. I even developed a product along the lines of Marriage Works. This is just a little bit of pina colada and pineapple juice. That's all it is. And then I have my tea, of course. So what is this intimacy? Taking the time to look into me, okay? Look inside so deeply that you can see my soul. Don't miss my final thought. Okay, so we're talking about intimacy outside of the bedroom, that wooing, that luring me. Because my thing is, if nothing's happening outside of the bedroom, how do you think something's going to happen inside the bedroom? Your behavior and the way you conduct yourself outside of the bedroom with your spouse is going to determine if you get some fireworks on the inside of the bedroom. Does that make sense? We cannot fuss and cuss, or we don't cuss, but we can't fuss and cut up and just snarl at each other and bite each other's head off and can't render a compliment and then expect to close the evening with intimacy. What? What the animal is that? No, it doesn't work like that. That's the reason why that word intimacy, that constant state of connectivity, is going to be important. Okay? Now, Looking inside of me so deeply, you understand the need. No, no. First, you got to recognize the need. Then you got to understand the need. And then you must be willing to fulfill the need. That'll preach right there. Listen, you have to be a responsible individual in order to participate in marriage. You cannot be irresponsible with your spouse's needs or your spouse's feelings and call yourself married. No, you're not married. You've got some type of arrangement, but it's not a marriage. Remember when I talked to you about marriage is not for selfish people? Well, this is a huge proponent to that, okay? If you cannot lay aside your desires and look upon and embrace and fulfill the needs of your spouse, you do not need to be married. It will not work, because marriage is not for the selfish, it's for the selfless. People that can look on the needs of their spouse, demonstrate the responsibility, and also fulfill that need. Okay. Case in point. Come on in, women. Let me talk to you guys real quick. If you know it. If you know that your spouse likes to have a meal cooked when he comes home, why wouldn't you fulfill that? Now, I know, we living in a whole new different time and people doing all kind of weird stuff, but I tell y'all all the time, boss lady is old school. Because old school works for me all day long, okay? But if you know that your spouse wants a meal cooked and something prepared for him when he comes home, why wouldn't you do that? You have a responsibility to fulfill that need. Come on in, guys, you too. Now, if you know that your wife, let's see, what do we like? We like our cars washed. Yes! We love for our men to get out there and just wash our car without being asked. Be spontaneous, be thoughtful, okay? Make certain that your spouse is occupying some of your thought space throughout the day, and that you are developing ways to fulfill your spouse's needs, just to demonstrate that, hey, I thought about you today, okay? You have a responsibility to fulfill the need of your spouse. And so if he's fulfilling your needs and you're fulfilling his, who's left out? No one, okay? And that's where that connectivity comes from. And you can't tell me that if you have two people that are willing to do that there's not going to be fireworks in the bedroom. See, the intimacy in the bedroom is predicated on what happens outside of the bedroom. Did y'all get that? Yeah, so if there's a lot of mushy and gushy and affection and compliments and all that kind of stuff going on outside of the bedroom, then, getting rewarded inside of the bedroom is not going to be a problem. But you got to do the work outside of the bedroom, okay? Yes, I love this so much. Now, there are so many forms of intimacy. Sexual, we like that one, don't we? Emotional, relational, and spiritual. All of these are forms of intimacy. You're not only fulfilling my physical or my sexual need, that's a responsibility, but you're also fulfilling my emotional needs, having compassion when I need it, and also being able to relate to the things that I'm going through, right? Being able to relate to me as a person. My spiritual needs. I may need to pray. We may need to, go and study the word. We may need to go to Bible study together. We may need to connect on a spiritual level. So I don't want you to just be so close-minded to think that intimacy is just one. No, as soon as we hear the word intimacy, we automatically go to the bed and start rolling in the sheets. No, there's so many others. Now, while we're there, I'm going to go ahead and deal with that. Intimacy, physical intimacy, connectivity. When those bodies come together and they create, boom, fireworks, that's like a present. Two people that are joined in holy matrimony, a marriage that is ordained by God. When they engage in, copulation or sexual activity, And that's like a present, to God. So you don't want to miss the opportunity to minister to your spouse in that particular area. Okay. Because sometimes we try to play the clacoon or the cocoon or the whatever. I don't know what it's called. The lockdown. Don't play that game. Don't play that game. You're opening yourself up so that, the offenders can come in and wreak havoc in your marriage. Don't play that game, okay? When you agree to get married, your body no longer belongs to you. Your body belongs to your spouse, okay? I'm not going to go super spiritual on you in that area, but I think you get my drift. But do not play those areas. And then you're missing the opportunity to minister to your spouse's physical needs. And sometimes you have to just deny yourself. Your spouse may be in the mood, but you're so tired and sleepy. Sometimes you just have to say, oh, shucks, I have to sleep late and I'm going to go ahead and give in. Because you want to minister to your spouse's needs. You don't want your spouse just sitting over there wanting something and you got it and won't give it to them. That's not right. Boy, I could go deep on that one, but I'm not. All right. So let's talk about, we're going to stay in this vein just a little bit. If you're not intimate, okay, if you're not taking the opportunity to share, in intimate and tender moments, you're missing it, okay? Because check this out. If you're mushy and gushy outside of the bedroom, you transfer that mushy and gushiness to the bedroom. And then it transfers outside the bedroom, and then it comes back into the bedroom, and then you take it out of the bedroom, and then it just perpetuates itself, right? And that's how you keep that connectivity going. You keep the mushy and gushy outside of the bedroom, bring it to the bedroom, and because it's mushy and gushy on the inside, it comes back out, and it just keeps on going. And that's how you stay connected to your spouse intimately. It works, guys. Listen, 31 years of experience. I believe I can speak on this. And can I just be candid with you? In the very beginning, I didn't understand. None of us really understood. We're just going through the motion. Remember, I just want to be married. I didn't really understand that my body didn't belong to me. I just did not. Why are you touching me? I just didn't get it. I was crazy. When I first got married, there were so many things that were serious that I took for granted because I really didn't understand. You see, in the church, they really didn't go into, deep detail about why intimacy is so important. But this right here is a deep dive on it, okay? You don't want to miss the opportunity to minister to any need that your spouse has. I don't care if it's emotional, spiritual. I don't care if it's physical or relational. You are responsible, and God's going to hold your feet to the fire to minister and fulfill, that's the word I need, all of the needs that your spouse has on an intimate level. Do not miss the opportunity to know your spouse on a deeper level. Do you know what your spouse's goals are? Do you know what your spouse, endeavors to do in life? This is intimacy, guys. Now, before I go into my final thoughts, I'm going to share with you some of my intimate, things that I like to do. I love holding hands. I love the physical connection of holding hands because to me, that's intimacy. I also love pillow talk. I just love it when my spouse just, nestles up under me and then, lays his head on my shoulder or something. And then we just talk. To me, that's intimacy. I love cuddling. That is intimacy. When we go out to eat and we sit on the same side, to me, that's it. All of those are intimacy because remember, you're trying to, accentuate the mushy and gushy so that you can get some fireworks at the end of the day, right? Because that's really what we want. We want fireworks, but it's not just the fireworks. It's staying connected to your spouse on an ongoing basis so that the offenders won't have an opportunity to work their way into your marriage and steal the peace and the joy from your relationship. Okay, now let's see if I've covered all of my notes. Oh yeah. Let me talk to you about when intimacy dies. When intimacy dies, you are taking a chance of ending up in divorce court, because intimacy is the key component, and it's the threading that keeps the marriage together. So if you're losing or ignoring the opportunity to be intimate with your spouse, you're setting yourself up for failure. You really are. Don't play that game. A lack of intimacy in a relationship is a lack of connectivity. Too much lack of connectivity, you will be permanently disconnected, and you don't want to do that. Don't play those types of games, okay? Now, like I said, don't just think about intimacy as sex. Think about it as an opportunity to share and to, do a deep dive on, what moves your spouse, what gets your spouse excited. That's the button that you want to push, okay? Now, let's get into my, did this help you? I hope it did. It really helped me. It kind of, reminded me of some things. Now, before I get to my last final thought, let me tell you what Joyce Meyer told me the other day in one of her sermons. She said, do you know that if you give your spouse a compliment every day, that will keep you out of divorce court? I was like, what? I was like, that is so cool. I love Joyce Meyer. Okay, here we go. Here is my final thought. Intimacy is not purely physical, but it's the act of connecting with someone so deeply that you can literally see inside their soul. Wow. That's pretty powerful, guys. So that's what you want to do. You want to connect so deeply that you can see the inside of your spouse's soul. And don't forget, guys, watch your spouse closely. Fulfill the needs of their heart. He, she, whatever the case is. Fulfill the needs of your women. Fulfill the needs of your husbands. Fulfill the needs of his desires. Okay? And wives and husbands, fulfill the needs of your wife's desires. Whatever those desires are, manage those and be a great, great steward over those. Okay? All right, guys. That's it for today. Don't forget, intimacy is the threading that keeps you connected. Have a wonderful day. We love you guys.